Yeah.
Chetan Bhagat, wonderful to see you, and many congratulations on the release of One Arranged Murder. And I think I need to pat myself on the back too because I'm involved in a small way,
Yes.
but I'm
Not
I'm
small. That's a big way.
you're a kind man.
Even I have not read my book out loud.
Don't do
And
it, otherwise you'll take some
yes, and
work
so
away
just
from me.
just to give context to people, the book is my book One Arranged Murder is not only out as a book, it's also out as an audio book on this wonderful platform called Audible to hear audiobooks. If you've never heard of audiobook, give it a try. It's basically reading books for lazy people because the effort has been done by Hrishi K, who's read the book out to you. जैसे बच्चे को नानी माँ कहानी सुनाती है ना, it's that almost. It's even better actually because he reads it with some expression and all, and he's read the entire novel. So Hrishi K is the classic Three Idiots dialogue. बोल वो रहे हैं and शब्द हमारे हैं. Right?
True that.
Oh, that dialogue.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you've been bitten once, not been credit where it's given credit where it's due. So I know you're very sensitive to that, and many thanks to you. I mean, you've constantly been putting it out there, saying it's
Yes.
narrated by Hrishi K. You put it on social media, and therein my love for you goes up a wee bit more.
Thank you so much. And people can check it out. And yeah, and I'll tell you something. Not this book, the last book, Girl in 105, that's when Audible called me for a trial and said that why don't you read your own book? We'll see. And I must say I was rejected from reading my own book. They said, sir, nahi ho pa raha aapse. I said, this is my own book. What are you talking about? They said, आपका बहुत Delhi Punjabi accent hai. This doesn't work for us. Sorry. And they were so like, it was so difficult for them to tell me that. And they were like, oh, sir, Ravi, how to tell? Like, yeah, wo. And then, so I have been rejected at Audible. So thank you for stepping in and doing the job, which I could.
With pleasure.
They think
I
you read my book better than I can. So, yeah.
Great. I hope it's an abiding partnership from
Hmm.
here on.
And I heard the
I'm
book is
looking
doing
forward.
very well on Audible. So,
Yes, they
congrats
tell
to
me
you
so.
too.
They tell me
Yeah.
so. Thank you very much. Chetan, I love your references to classic rock and to modern pop. And this book has two references. One, November Rain by Guns N' Roses and
Yes.
Zayn Malik and Taylor Swift. I know you weaved it into the narrative. You're a master at that. But why do those songs in particular resonate with you? Was Guns N' Roses a college IIT IM kind of thing? Or Taylor and Zayn something you picked up from your kids' playlist? Tell all.
Yeah, so it's interesting start to the book. So yes, I do try to give a lot of context and a real world context in my stories, whether it is brands like Starbucks and Uber and Ola, and of course songs and music. And I think that can really evoke a mood in a story. And one of the characters trying to be a rock musician, that's Adi Chachu. And so when he's playing at a hotel or something, he plays November Rain. I really love that song. I mean, I think if I ever became a rock singer at a hotel, I love that song. It's really good. And I don't know if this generation has heard it. And that era is only gone, isn't it? Like that era of rock is gone. And it's not just a rock song, it has a lovely ballad in the end, lovely, like, guitaring. It's just the instrumental portions, the vocals are great. And yeah, it was an iconic group for me when I was in college and everything. So I put that there. The Taylor Swift song is, yeah, when they are kind of okay.
Making love.
I don't want to give you a spoiler. I said I want to ask you that. How did you read those scenes? I mean, but but
Without any sound effects, Chetan. I assure you.
okay, that would have been weird. But yes, so I had to show a kind of the making love or sex scene, or whatever you want to call it. It had a certain amount of pleasure and pain mixed in it, right? That's the kind of sex it
Yeah.
was, and that song is from 50 Shades of Grey. So it was like the perfect reference for it. So I Don't Want to Live Forever is from there. So it just sets the mood. If you've heard the song, it will set the mood for you. If you've not heard the song, it's okay. You can still read the book, maybe listen to the song later. So yeah, I picked the mood based on the thing.
Like you say, there are lots of people who first start reading books by picking up a Chetan Bhagat novel. As a music man, I know there are a lot of people who will actually go and Google
Yeah,
that particular song after they read
it's a
the novel.
damn good song. I will, and of course, I put a song that I like. So Yeah, and it's always been there. In Half Girlfriend there are a lot of like songs in the end when I mean in the movie they may put the original songs, but in the book it was uh, You're Beautiful, I think, by James Blunt and things like that were there. So yeah, I always try to do that. And I often maybe playing that when I'm writing that scene, I would be playing that song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
But
you're so right about this, Chetan. When you and me went to college, for example, the cool kids were the ones with the guitar in the college canteen.
yeah,
Now the cool kids are the ones with the Macs creating electronic pop on their computer. They're the ones who are the cool
yeah.
kids.
And
Yeah.
even cooler a few years later are the ones coding because they open these big startups and then, you know, they get all the girls. It starts with the guy who plays chord and plays the guitar, but it ends up with the guy who goes to Silicon Valley. So yeah, such is life, guys. Nerds rule.
Yeah, totally. Like Sherlock had Watson, Feluda had Topshe, Bomkesh Bakshi had Ajit, Keshav has Saurabh.
Yes.
Though sometimes I feel Saurabh is as smart as Keshav and not so much sidekick material.
No.
How do you view detectives hunting in pairs, as it were?
Yeah, so first of all, when I wrote Girl in Room 5, 105, the last book of Keshav Saab, it was not meant to be something of a series. Each of my book is a standalone book so far. This is the first time I've repeated characters in any book. So I never thought it would be a series. I was just like, let me see if I can do a murder mystery. And I if I can get away with it. I did it, people really liked it. And then I said, hey, why don't and people really liked the characters. So they were never intended to be detective and sidekick. They were just two best friends who solve a case. So now, if I'm writing the second one, I can't suddenly change that part. That one is, in fact, Saurabh is smarter in some ways.
Yep.
Keshav is more like a never give up. From a motivation point of view, Keshav is also smart, but he's more like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight. I'm going to do what it takes to get it. And so, from a boldness point of view, Keshav is more bold. Saurav is a little more scared, a little more conservative, a little more practical. Let's not. It's the Keshav brings the passion and motivation, but in terms of computers and hacking and things like that, Saurabh is the smarter one on that. So I think they are a pair. A pair really helps because how do I show a detective? Thinking about his strategy. It's a book, right? In fact, in Vyomkesh Bakshi, they say in Bengali novels, the hero doesn't have to do much. He's just lying in bed, looking at the fan, and he gets the entire murder, how suspect list or whatever. That's not very interesting to read. So having a pair really allows a Socrates type banter. Like I question you, what if this happened? But then I say, no, this couldn't have happened. No, but what about this? So that Socrates question answer banter to come to a conclusion on a suspect. I think that is very much there. Plus, it's my strength. Bromance and all is something I've always done. So it's a Chetan Bhagat murder mystery at the end of the day. It's not a hardcore CSI or a crime patrol kind of book. So their relationship, they are angry with each other. They are it's very Indian in that way. Like he called his would be fiancé fat and things like that. So it's different from Sherlock Watson in that way.
There's a number in every book, and this one has one. How do you figure which number you feature in which book?
I don't figure that. That's just I leave that. Then that'll become too restrictive. In fact, I have now started this trend. Now people expect the number, and I just put it, and that's why I end up putting one a lot because that can almost be put anywhere. So it's one night at a call center, one Indian girl. This book could have been called Arranged Murder too. I mean, there's no reason for
Yeah.
one, but I mean that's just me.
And when you run out of
One of
numbers, you can
the
just put the year, like you did with
I
the
would
Revolution.
Yeah, that was also that. In fact, one of the other options of this titles of this book was the Karwa Chauth murder because the girl gets murdered on the
Yep.
roof. So, and technically, Karwa Chauth is a number. The Chauth is
Hmm.
4. But the only reason why that title was not kept is that Karwa Chauth is a very North Indian thing. And my books are sold in the South also. And the name, I mean, because of Bollywood, everybody knows Karwa Chauth. But I don't know if in Kerala people know Karwa Chauth that much. So that's why we didn't do it. But yes, that's the number thing. Before you go on, I want to ask you about questions about the audiobook. So what was it like? It's an 8 hour. It takes 8 hours to finish the book.
Yep.
if you read audiobook. So people, you can read it 1 hour a day. You can hear it 1 hour a day, half an hour a day, whatever. And you can even increase the speed a bit, right? If you want 1.2x, and
That's
if you
right.
want to just mess with Hrishi K and make it
Baritone.
sound like a chipmunk, you can do it.
Yeah.
But please don't do that. You will ruin the book for yourself. But how long did it actually take you? Tell me about that. Like it takes much longer than 8 hours for sure, right?
Yeah, it does. So basically, what happens is that when you're doing a marathon narration session like this, you've got to give your voice the requisite breaks, you know, and also because there's a lot of breath control involved, it also gives your lungs a break. So I would basically sit and say, I'm going to read for 2 hours every single day, and we'll break it up into half an hour blocks. So I would read for half an hour, then take about a 10-minute break. So I'd clock in 2 hours of reading time every day. And then, we had an editor who would sit there and take out some fumbles, take out any repeats. Sometimes you feel you can give a better emotion the second time around in take 3 or take 4, and then whittle it down. So your final hours are actually only a fraction of the number of hours actually that any narrator takes. And what really helped for me was the conversations I had with Audible before we kicked it off,
Mhm.
because this is a Chetan Bhagat novel. I mean, there are going to be multiple characters, and they're going to be all characters from the Indian milieu.
Yeah.
And one thing we were both on the same page was that just because it's a female character doesn't mean I will change my voice to be that of the female.
No.
Uh, the idea was to stay with the emotion more than trying to be a caricature
Yeah, like
mimicry
there's a
artist.
Punjabi old dadi. Yeah, that
Correct.
would be very weird.
Yeah, so it would be really weird. So we were on the same page saying it's not a radio play or it's not a audio play. It is a
Yeah.
narration. So you will change the emotion when the Dadi comes, and you will change the emotion when Inspector Vijender Singh comes.
Mm-hmm.
But don't try and become that person. So what I did was I said, let's keep Keshav as my voice, my natural original voice,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever Hrishi K says is Keshav. And
Okay.
then the emotion can vary. Like, for example, with Anjali, it can be a little softer,
Mm.
you know, and with Saurabh, it can be a little whiny at times because he
Mm.
does whine for food,
Yeah.
So
Okay. Interesting.
that's how we kept it. So thoroughly enjoyable.
Mm.
I read it once before I voiced it, and I read it while voicing it, and then we identify a whole bunch of changes because these are all templates set by the West. It's not like something that we suddenly woke up in India and said we're going to do. People have been doing this for a couple of decades at least in the US and European more
Yeah.
evolved markets. And there's a list of do's and don'ts, how you do things, how you don't. Even small things like too much breath, it has to be natural. So the breath has to be there, but too much of it can't be there. So it's just a phenomenal experience to have a go at this. And I couldn't have asked for a better book than yours because it gave me that utar chadao, the ups and downs, the curves and things like that.
Okay. So then let's talk about the Tachrav and the emotion during a sex scene. How do you do that?
Yeah, so what I did is I just made my voice very sensual. Even
Oh.
the interplay or the exchange, I made it
Oh.
more sensual.
I'm
That's
sure
what I did.
listeners of this podcast or video would like a sample, Rishi.
You should have told me. I would have just pulled up a bit. So,
You can just make, there's no, you can go with the flow.
okay,
How
so
would
maybe
you?
I can read the next question, which I'm going to ask
Mm.
you
Yes.
in a very sensual manner.
Yes.
One thing the West will never have is stories woven around a joint family because they don't have the joint family system. Only small nuclear families.
Okay, enough. This is mildly
And
unnerving.
of course, when she gets aggressive, like,
Yes.
we don't want to give away too many spoilers, then you just quicken the pace a little bit.
It's
She
quite
reached out for him
awesome.
and she did this.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
nice.
it's just a
Yeah,
great
so I
fun,
don't
man.
have to worry about all this when I'm writing.
Yeah, you don't.
I'm just writing, right? So, but yeah, but your question, you said something about joint families, and I was so
Yeah,
lost in, and you're right, I was more lost in the emotion than on what you were saying.
yeah, I'm glad.
Uh,
So, the one thing the West is never going to have, Chetan, is stories woven around a joint family because they simply don't have a joint family system.
Yes,
Only small
yes.
nuclear families. One Arranged Murder is about a large Punjabi joint family. Have you lived in one? Have you been taken to one as a kid during your summer holidays?
I
How
have
did that
lived in one.
resonate with you?
When I was a kid, I've lived in one till around uh, you can say till I was a teenager. We had more of my father brothers staying there. I have had, and all my cousins, and even if it's not joint family, we're all in Delhi. So there was a lot of people meeting and things like that. So I think I do have a very good sense of that. In fact, it's good you asked that. The classic, English murder mysteries are like there is a murder at the party, and the butler did it. Like those kind of classic stories, and that's how it originated, because I thought, okay, what if this party was a Punjabi family, Punjabi shadi, you know, and then there is a murder? That'll be 100 times more interesting than just random guests at a party, because one is a chacha and one is a chachi, and all the kind of family dynamics and who's investigated and who the police talking to will get mixed up with this. And I thought that would make a excellent story of a murder in a joint family. Will be something Indians enjoy a lot more than murder at a party. And yeah, that's how it came about. And you will not have this story in the West. You will. I had to distinguish myself. There's so many dozens of Agatha Christie's. There is like dozens of Alfred Hitchcocks. People have read those. People have seen adaptations of those. So and there are CID, Crime Patrol, are some of the longest shows running on television. So I have to be, and if I'm saying it's my mystery, I have to make it special, and it has to be more than just a whodunit, which needs to be good. The suspense and all needs to be good, but it needs to have more. And this is the more. This is what Chetan Bhagat brings to it: the Punjabi joint family, the Indianness, the context of India, the people feeling like they don't have a job, or like love and fiancé and friendship getting affected because you are best friends getting married, things like that.
A lot of people, after seeing the teaser video, are already thinking there is a movie called One Arranged Murder coming up starring Vikrant Massey. Was that exclusively shot for the book or is it cut from a film, Chetan? Please tell all. And why Vikrant Massey? I mean, he's a fine actor, but why did you feel he embodies Keshav Raj Purohit?
Well, he no, it was short for the promotion, and the idea was a lot of young people are on their phones and watching videos all day, and like this we are recording, and to wean them from a video to a book, I thought show them a little bit of video, and then you want to know what happened, read the book. So it's a strategy, especially in a Corona pandemic. It's a very good strategy because I can't go and promote the book in a launch or do anything. So we shot it. We took Vikrant Masi because he was there in the last book's trailer too. And that's the first time we made a trailer like that. And since the character is repeated, we had to repeat again. Um, we have, he was in the last book's trailer because he does fit the Keshav character, who's like a everyday, guy who's an engineer, but kind of smart and has a sort of attractive, but the next door attractive look to him, not like a larger than life. And he was in Half Girlfriend. He was playing the part of Arjun Kapoor's best friend. So I knew him then. I was really impressed by him. And so we did that. And then we had to kind of take him in this time's promo too. And it's fine. It works well. But it's not a movie that has been cut. There is no movie yet. There is no web series yet. It's just a promotional tool, guys. But yeah, it worked.
Now, amongst the directors you worked with, whom have you had the best relationship with and why? Between Raju Irani, Atul Agnihotri, Abhishek Kapoor, Abhishek Varman, Mohit Suri.
Uh, I can't say best, but I think I've had a decent relationship with everybody. But two people I talk to, still talk to, just even if we are not working on a movie, is um, is Mohit Suri and Abhishek Kapoor. So these two, we catch up and talk about things, and I would count them as friends, and I wish them well for their work with them, even if we are not working together now. So I think these two have been the and Abhishek Kapoor, I worked with him in 2013. Like that's been a long journey, and even Mohit, the movie came out in I think 17.
Yeah.
So we're talking. So yeah, so I think these two.
And why is that happening? It's just some connect that happened between the two of them.
We
Yeah.
worked very closely together. I think in Kaipoche, I was the co-screenplay writer, So that allows you to not just sell the rights, you're working with the director a lot. And in Half Girlfriend, Mohit and I were both co-producers, and he told me to come on the set every day. So I was there like 90 days on the set. So I think you get close. Otherwise, you sell the rights and go away. So you
Correct.
don't get to, but yeah.
So apart from Saurabh and Keshav, just leave Saurabh and Keshav aside. Who is your favorite character in One Arranged Murder and why?
Who is my in One Arranged Murder? I would say I really like the character of Rana. There are two cops, and the cop that is
Actually, that was my next question, but anyway, yeah.
he was there in Berlin 105 as the main cop. This time there's a different cop, but they go to Rana because they know him, and he's got this. He's a jerk at one level, but he's a very lovable kind of jerk. He's a very practical guy, and he's selfish, and he embodies everything. A lot of flaw. He's very. All my characters are great, but I would say he's more bad than good. But there is something good about him too. You do end up liking him for some reason, and I think because deep down he kind of is a nice guy. He's just selfish and jaded by the system, but he's a nice guy and he's funny. So and so, but he's not politically correct. So maybe that character came out well because
Yeah,
you don't know how to place him.
yeah.
What is he?
Yeah, because for me again, since I said I preempted my next question, I was talking about Inspector Vijender Singh and ACP Rana. I mean, it's obviously Vijender Singh. He takes himself very seriously. He's a typical Delhi cop, and there's ACP Rana who's jovial, but he's been transferred to the VIP security division. Now, normally the punishment posting is supposed to be traffic, but I'm so glad you didn't choose traffic. You chose
Yeah,
the VIP security. Was that done on purpose instead of taking traffic?
yeah. Because no, even yeah, because I did some research and I found out that people, for some reason, don't like to go to headquarters. Normally I would think if you're getting shifted to headquarters or to police headquarters, people, because I think at a police station you're kind of like it's you're your own boss, and you're the thing. When in headquarters you could be like just a cog in the wheel in the bureaucratic system of police. So I think it was deliberate to do that. Yes.
My favorite character has got to be Anjali. I mean, she's sexy, she's bold, she's
Yeah.
26, she takes what she wants. Just fantastic. And I think that's a very interesting character because you've not dealt with it from a Karan Johar perspective. This
Hmm.
is an NRI who comes and actually, in a lot of ways, she's fitted into the thing. So, just a little bit about Anjali. It's an interesting character.
Yeah. So the Anjali's inspiration came from the left-leaning liberals who troll me on Twitter. So really, I'm telling you, because I found people who were very righteous and very, idealistic almost, but kind of end up getting a raw deal in life, and then they become frustrated and negative as well. And maybe it's just the way I see, not all. So I'm really not, I don't need to generalize, but there are people who, who maybe like she's come from abroad and she's learned about climate change and, all the good social causes. And she thinks she'll come to India and India needs social change and she'll try. And it just doesn't work out for her career wise because people are more interested in, like she says, I'm working for this. She works in one of those left-link publications like The Wire or things like that. And so that was the inspiration. And I just wanted to show her as someone bold and again gray, gray. Everybody's gray. Keshav is gray, and maybe Saurav is not gray and Prerna is not. They're the whitest, but mostly it's just everybody's gray, and that makes a character more memorable. I've always seen a gray character is less likable but more relatable
Yeah.
because we are all flawed. If I show flaws in my hero, also I'll show flaws. Like the whole um, the like I show him fat shaming and all, and it's mentioned and but I wanted to show that Keshav is not like fully woke or anything, but he has a good heart, and that is possible.
And the dadi who yells. Every house has an old dadi, especially Punjabi families. A wicked sense of humor, very dramatic, but can't hear. Yeah, have a few in yours.
Yes, this whole thing that they're old and now it's physically it's very difficult for them because the ailments are coming. but they haven't lost their zest for life. And that is that's the thing. And I think I wanted to bring that out. And yeah, I've had like they are these matriarchs of the house, and so I think that is, yeah, these, I mean, where else will I guess my Punjabi relatives from my own, right?
Listen, all these novels of romance writing and then thriller, murder, mystery writing. I want to know what is similar. What is similar in romantic novel writing and murder mystery writing? There's got to be some commonality apart from Chetan Bhagat writing them.
Yeah, it's very different and it's very similar, I'll tell you. And so, of course, it needs to have a good like characters and good plot and good story and everything, and that is common to um, any book. It needs to be a good story. And in my books, I like to keep it simple writing. It needs to have some humor, romance, all the emotional range has to be there. But a murder mystery is a far bigger challenge. It's very, very challenging. And the last time was even more challenging. And this time I've taken, actually, it's a very simple book, but it's a very complicated plot if you think about it, to kind of explain to people. And I don't believe in putting family trees and things like that. I just wanted to explain it to anybody, but it's like I said, the moment you have a joint family, in it makes things really complicated. So one is that, and the thing is, when people read a murder mystery, they are not just reading the book; they are solving the crime. Nobody just reads the book or listens to the book; they are trying to guess who the killer is. So yeah,
So, but what's similar? What's similar between romance writing and murder writing?
I think characters and plot have to be very well made and well defined, that people want to keep turning the page. They start caring about the characters. That is there. Even in a murder mystery, in fact, you're kind of asking me tricks of the trade, but in a love story, the hero cares about the girl. So
Yeah.
like he wants her. How do you do that in a murder mystery? I try to make cases which are very personal to the detective. It's Saurabh's fiancée who died. So of course they're invested in the crime. So I think that part is similar, where the emotional stakes for the hero are almost the same, as he's looking for a life partner, or he's trying to solve this case because emotionally that's at stake. For Keshav, he's had a fight with Saurabh. The only way he'll win his friend back is if he helps him solve this crime on how his fiancée was murdered. So I think that part has, at least according to me, different writers will tell you different things. But for me, that has to be kept very much there. That the emotional core and the emotional investment of the hero and the characters have to be very strong in either. You can't just say, I have a good mystery in the sense this is how the crime happened, then I can just get away with it. People have to still like your characters, feel like they met these people in real life, things like that.
See, I'm most like Saurabh. Sorry, my life begins and ends with food. I eat and reach out for food when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm
Hmm.
normal. Which character are you closest to amongst all of them?
People say in my office I'm Saurabh. I don't like it. I don't know, man. I don't eat that much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know whether I eat that much or not, but I'm definitely think food is a big part of me and Punjabis. And in fact, I'm going to do an Insta post soon for those who have read the book. Write down the dishes mentioned in One Arranged Murder.
Interesting.
There's an entire menu.
There is actually. You're right.
There's everything. There's butter chicken, chole bhature, and mithai, and all the shadi dish. I mean, it's
And normal
insane.
doodh, normal doodh which runs out.
Dude, it's like dude, and like yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. They call each other by mithai. I don't know what's the obsession with food. Where is this coming from? Maybe it's all the food I want to eat, but I can't eat. But I still, yeah. For me, food is very much a part of. I mean, not just for comic relief, but I want to write, even though it's a murder mystery, and I want to write about the food that when people read the book, they feel like eating that.
But I see lots of fitness and exercise pictures. What do you do? Pilates,
Nowadays,
weights, running. Give me a fitness routine.
now I'm doing this is lockdown, and I'm in Singapore, and I'm just been here since March. So I was going to release a book that got postponed. Now I've released it. There's nothing else to do. So now trying to, be a little healthier. And yeah, I run. I like running. and I enjoy running mostly. But I also, the swim sometimes. The pools are opened here just now. Sometimes I'll swim, sometimes I'll do yoga. So, but mostly it's a lot of running. I like running.
Out in the open, or do you do it in a gym
Uh,
with a treadmill?
Now gym. When gyms were shut for many months here, then I did it out in the open.
Is
You
this
were
the most
allowed to.
serious about you've been about your fitness ever, or
Almost. The
almost?
other time I was when Kaipoche released. But I don't know. I was just this. Oh, there'll be a premiere. I better look good. Silly. Now there's no premiere. Now I'm doing it for myself because that premiere went away and the food came back. So
What's the nicest thing a fan has said to you, or if you can think of one or two things, tell me.
yeah, it's very. I mean, it's been such a long journey that I can't say one thing. But like I'll just tell you recently. For me, I just heard my Masi who lives in Janakpuri. She's reading my book. I sent her some books, and she has a live-in maid who's 12 past, and she said, "I'm reading a book, and she's also reading a book." To me, that is range. My Masis must be close to 80 now, and my the maid is not. Do you ever expect that in India a domestic help will read an English novel? That's partly due to the growth of India and the growth of education, but it's partly due to my contribution. And I think that dream I always had, that everybody in India will have access to and will read my book in slums, in maids, in posh homes, in everybody. And I think that to me is the biggest compliment.
I know you've been dying to come back to India, especially for your launch. It didn't happen. But is there a facet of Singapore life that you love? What is it that you most love about
It's
Singapore?
very nice. It's too nice. I'm kidding you. It's too nice, and it in India you get used to like the traffic and just life is hard in India. Like something will break down someday every day, and that keeps you alert. And that keeps you stoned and seasoned mentally. Here everything kind of works, and if you've been and I used to come just to let people know my children are studying here and we have a place here, so I would come and go, but now, because of this COVID, I've been here 6, 7 months, and now I'm used to everything working all the time. So I'm actually a bit scared that I come to India and, you know, I'll act like that obnoxious NRI. Oh my God, why is this tap at the airport leaking? Whereas earlier I would be, Arey, pani mil gaya.
Taapsee for the virtual book launch. Why that choice? And what is it that you love about her? You reached out and said, let's do this.
I always have tried to get self-made Indians well before the nepotism debate. I try to get. I'm not very particular about it, but like I somehow like to get people who I feel my readers will get inspired by. I think having a actress at the launch allows us to do some readings. We do like a mini version of this audio thing you're doing, basically where I read the guy's part, she'll read the girl's part. That because I find like book launches where readings become very dull. So when I have me and a girl reading, it gives a certain duet kind of feeling to it. So that's why that. And so the last book was like Kangana was there, and then it was Kriti Sanon. And I felt Taapsee is very much like somebody who's done well and somebody who has opinions and a very strong person. And we were going to do the book launch in May, and she was going to do it. We were all set to go, and then it was all held back, and now it was coming again. So I thought, okay, why let's do it. So that was always the plan.
Yeah,
So
I
Taapsee.
love I enjoyed the chat. It was really great
Yeah,
fun
I don't
online.
know, for some reason people are saying no Bollywood, we don't like Bollywood. We don't like. What is, hello, seriously, you don't like Bollywood? You're obsessed by Bollywood. People who say that are the most upset. Oh, we don't like Bollywood. We don't. Do you know this heroine tweeted this? What did she tweet? What did she tweet? What did she? Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah. Clearly, you're very, very much interested. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. This whole expectation that oh my God, someone had a joint. I'm not supporting it. But at the end of the day, who told you that Bollywood people are Maryada Purushottam, Adarsh Purush, or Adarsh Nari? They're human beings, guys. Human beings have flaws. You have flaws. If I dig into your phone and your cupboard, I'll find some shit. Do you guys people watch pirated movies? That's illegal. So how about that? Should we start like? So just don't judge so easily and just chill a bit, you know. Don't assume that just because people work there, they're all debauched and like everybody's plotting and everybody just chill a bit, you know, just calm
Yeah,
the
some of the
hell down.
hardest working people I know are film folks. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Try eating as little as they do.
and work 20-hour shifts, correct. You've been saying this for the longest time in your columns that we need to get back to concentrating on the economy. How do you view drug allegations in Bollywood, the Sushant Singh case, all of this, as the Indian economy plummets?
Oh, I think I have said it many times before in many places that I am very much, I care a lot for Sushant, and there's no, that will never change. In fact, I care more than a lot of people who claim to care for him, because he was in his career and my careers were linked. I mean, his first movie was My Story, and which was a big contributor to my career. And so I really was shocked when this happened, and I feel a lot for him. But this conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory, how can conspiracy theories be running at the same time? Nepotism, drugs, you know, and Disha Salyan and Aditya Thackeray and Ria. Like, it is endless, man. And you have zero proof. And the people who are giving the proof, postmortem reports, Cooper Hospital's bad, Ames Hospital bad, Mumbai police bad, you know, सब मिले हुए हैं. Oh, Chetan's talking about this. ये भी मिला हुआ है. इसको भी पैसे मिले हैं. ऋषि को भी पैसे मिले हैं. Everybody's got money. You know, firstly, how much do you think I'm getting paid to talk this about Sushant? And how much do you think I make otherwise? Do people realize that I can just make up stories and make a lot of money? I'm in a very unique job. So, but you think I say, no, yeah, let's lie on national platforms because that's where the real fun is. Because so this is utter nonsense and this is a disrespect to Sushant. And I feel the people who are doing this are not focusing. That is to me a symbol that you're something is wrong with your own life. That you have time to waste on this. Because there's a lot of causes in India. You can put your effort and social media energy and passion. Please do. But it kind of tells me people are very like either bored or like they're not focused on their life. Whereas they should be on their careers. Look at what has happened. Corona, GDP contractions, you know.
You know, in the beginning, before the novel kicks off, you say, to those who loved and supported me through my toughest. Do you mean toughest phase or toughest book? And what made it so tough?
Toughest phases in life. I mean, there are people who really were there for me, and I think um, I realized that I think the lockdown makes you realize a lot of things. That there are a few people who really stood by me, and they are people I need to focus on. Not so much. I've been there. I've enjoyed the fame and the adulation for so long, and I think if I don't change after a 6 month reflection period of the lockdown, I would have lost an opportunity to make a difference. So I just wanted to dedicate it to those people who who have been with me up, down, always. And I think that's what dedication is for. It's the ninth book. You have to think of 9 dedications. Think about it.
Is there a skill you
You
picked up in lockdown? Is there a skill you picked up? Some people are using new software, cooking, whatever.
know, I just learned to sleep better. I know it's not a
Wow.
skill,
It is a
but
skill. Of course it is.
to
Yeah.
sleep better. I focused on it. I was sleeping late. I was having maybe, it's little changes like not to have caffeine after dark, sleep at the normal time, keep the phone away. I know it sounds silly, but good sleep is very important. It's really important to your happiness, to your success. So I've learned to, I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I realized that and I was traveling so much, I took 100 flights last year. So the sleep, Singapore, India only like 24 times. So that's crazy. That's not going to lead to a nice sleep. So with all the jet lag adjustments and whatever. So now I've learned to sleep better and it's great.
Last
So much
question.
better.
When is the
I mean,
movie?
sleep isn't sleep.
When is the movie or the web series happening? Come on, give us a clue. One arranged murder.
Next book is ready actually, Hrishi. Because of the lockdown,
Wow.
this book was ready to release. This has just been postponed. So what
Correct.
do I do in the last few months? So I've next book is almost ready, actually.
Nice. And
But
it's
we
again
will
Keshav
just
and
release,
Saurabh? Keshav and Saurabh?
yes. Yes, and it's really good. It's very good. Even because I've never had 5 months of doing nothing but focusing on the book. Always traveling and all and writing in bits and pieces. So that's also very good. I don't know when we'll release it. My publisher will decide 6 months to 12 months. But it will normally my books come after 2 years. Definitely not 2 years. Maybe 1 year
Yeah, but
max.
then the web series or the movie for this, One Arranged
I don't
Murder,
know. It will
when are the
have to
rights
be
going
Girl
on?
in 105 first, and then this,
Yeah.
and then
So you're lagging in one
that's
book.
we'll see. Let Corona get away, and then this
But
stupid
I'm sure
cinema
there
is
must be
gonna
lots
be.
of interest. Conversations must have started
The
happening.
conversations are there, but I want this Corona to go away, man.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's just the people are sticking things up their nose, they're getting tested before shooting started. That's not the mahal. And everything is slow. Production work, everything is very slow. Deals slow, uncertain, right? And now cinemas will open. We will see like how many people actually end up.
Yeah, but then the world is your oyster. You can go onto the web, OTT, and things like that. So,
Yeah, or audiobooks,
or
or
audiobooks,
audio plays.
audio,
Or
please. Yeah.
audio plays, all kinds of things are happening. I mean, I'm learning things which I didn't even know, man. I mean, Audible people met me and they said there's audio books, there's audio plays, there's like stuff happening, man.
Chetan, conversations with you are always lovely. This time is the first time that the tables were turned and you interviewed me for a brief portion of this interview.
Yes. I mean, is
So
this
that's a
thing,
first.
do you think, what do you have to say to people who've never heard audiobook before?
I think it's the most beautiful way of discovering a Chetan Bhagat novella, because
Hmm.
you've read it in physical form, you've read it in PDF Kindle form, and now if you just put on a pair of headphones and you hear the voice timbre and the emotion conveyed through just pure audio, and you can continue doing. The beauty about an ambient listening medium, pure audio, is that you can continue doing what you're doing, which is cooking, cleaning up about the house. Everybody's into jhadu pocha during the pandemic, a vista of activities. And you can just allow the voice to handhold you through some wonderful stories. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's nice. And it gives you a ultimate hands-free attention.
Yeah,
Like you can cook and do it. You can, all
exactly. That's what I said. Yeah.
you can't do very, I think, tasks that require a lot of focus concentration, but tasks that are in your muscle memory,
Yeah.
like cycling or just cooking or even getting ready or ironing clothes or folding clothes. Yeah, you can do it, and you would have read, you would have gone through books. So it's awesome, guys. Cool.
New markets to
Thank you,
conquer,
buddy.
Chetan. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful chatting with
Thank
you.
you.
Take care. Stay safe and healthy. Bye bye.